All right, here's your warning. Disney World's about to get even more expensive, so how are you still going to plan your big vacation without spending thousands of dollars more on your next visit? Find out today here on DFB Guide. Hey everybody, it's AJ for Disney Food Blog. So Disney World has never been a cheap vacation by any means, but with each passing year, new expenses appear and price tags for pre-existing parts of your vacation hike up. So today we're going to review all the different ways Disney World will be more expensive in 2024 and give you some tips for how you can keep those costs down despite that. So if you want to keep track of all your Disney World plans for future trips, including budgeting expenses, must-grab reservations, and a packing checklist, go ahead and scan the QR code you see on the screen right now or head to disneyfoodblog.com/DisneyPlans for our free downloadable Disney World worksheets. Those are going to serve you well for trips this year, next year, and years down the road. Okay, let's start with that dining plan. It's back, but at what cost to you? So the Disney dining plan has been unavailable in Disney World since the 2020 closures, but it's coming back starting January 9th, 2024 for you to tack onto your future vacations right now. If you choose to add it to your vacation, be prepared for some pretty significant extra costs that you'll have to pay up front. Now, hold up, I'm getting ahead of myself here. In case you're not familiar with it already, the Disney Dining Plan is a way to pre-purchase all your vacation meals, kind of like you do when you pay for a Disney cruise stateroom, except you're not going to get endless food like you will in a cruise. Instead, you'll receive a certain number of dining credits to use during your trip, and that number will be determined by what dining plan you get and how many nights you're there. So I guess it's less like a Disney cruise and more like your college meal plan. Now, Disney has revealed that the standard dining plan is going to cost $94.28 per adult per day and $29.69 per child per day. Ages for children are 3 to 9. The quick service dining plan, that's going to cost $57.01 per adult per day and $23.83 per child ages 3 to 9 per day. So to get your money's worth, you're going to want to make sure you're ordering some of the most expensive items on the menus at your restaurants and some of the priciest snacks available too. Otherwise, you're not going to break even. Think about it this way. Let's say I got the standard dining plan for myself at $94.28 a day. I'm going to get one table service meal per night, one quick service meal per night, and a snack or non-alcoholic drink per night, along with one resort refillable drink mug to use the whole time I'm there. Now, if I'm in Epcot and I want to use my one table service credit on an individual pizza at Via Napoli for lunch, then I turn around and use my snack credit and quick service credit on the stir-fried chicken and a turtle brownie from Sunshine Seasons. Then if I were to have paid for that entire meal out of pocket, minus any of the additional beverages I might have tacked on with it, a whole day of dining might have cost me a little over $42. So by getting the Disney dining plan, I actually spent $50 more than I would have if I'd skipped the plan entirely. So with the dining plan, not only will you spend more money up front on your vacation, but you also may end up wasting money if you don't order efficiently. Now, we got a brand new Disney Dining Plan guide on the dfbstore.com website right now. That's going to help you maximize your dining plan if you choose to get it. Or if you're considering adding it on, the guide will also help you decide if it makes sense for your trip. But here's what I will say for now. If you and your family are all about the different table service restaurants and want to experience a new one every single day, then the standard plan can still be a great fit versus the quick service option. You'll just want to make sure you use those dining credits on meals and experiences that are usually pretty costly. That's stuff like character dining and steak and lobster entrees and all-you-can-eat lunch and dinner buffets. Also, keep in mind that a handful of dining experiences like Cinderella's Royal Table in Magic Kingdom, Le Cellier Steakhouse in Epcot, the Hollywood Brown Derby in Hollywood Studios, all those signature high-end restaurants, those are going to cost you 2 dining credits instead of 1. So if you make reservations for any of those, be prepared to use 2 of your table service credits in a single day. Again, I know that can be a lot to take in right now, but if you want to learn more about the Disney dining plan instead of just learning about it in a nutshell, check out our new guide on dfbstore.com. Use code YouTube to save money on your purchase if you get it. But by the by, we also have a whole video all about the Disney dining plan here on the channel. That's a good one to go check out as well. Next up, let's talk about Disney Genie Plus prices. So Disney Genie Plus is becoming more popular than ever because necessity. After FastPass retired after the COVID closures, this premium skip-the-line system was introduced in 2021. When we first learned about Genie Plus and its Lightning Lane features, the standard Genie Plus option used to cost $15 per person per day. But in October 2022, Disney World changed the rules and the system now has date-based pricing. On top of that, the pricing also now fluctuates by park as of June 2023. Nowadays, Magic Kingdom is typically the most expensive park to buy Genie Plus for, followed by Hollywood Studios and then Animal Kingdom and Epcot. This means that those who were only buying Genie Plus for Magic Kingdom might be paying more on average than what they were previously. On top of that, there's also a separate price for Genie Plus if you've got a park hopper ticket and want to use it across multiple parks. This price usually matches up with the most expensive park price that day. For example, if Magic Kingdom is the highest priced park on the day of your visit, costing $27 per person, the multi-park Genie Plus option is going to cost $27 as well. Don't want to stress out on that extra Genie Plus cost? You so don't have to. Much like the Disney Dining Plan, Genie Plus is an extra expense that you can choose to add on to your trip, but you don't have to add it on. You can still get in line for the main queues per normal and skip the added expense altogether. However, keep in mind that time is money in Disney World, so if you're planning to travel during Disney's peak season, so around the holiday season maybe, and you choose to bypass lightning lanes to help save an extra $20 to $30 per person, that's okay, but you might find yourself having to wait in line after line after line all day long. When you're already paying so much for hotel and theme park tickets and meals, only to find your trip strictly consisting of looking at the backside of other guests' heads as you wait in 60+ minute queues, then Genie Plus could help save you money simply because it'll help save your time. Now, some of our team members here at DFB have found that Genie Plus is really useful on park hopper days because you can use that multi-park Genie Plus to stack lightning lanes while you're in your first park of the day. So for instance, you start your day in Animal Kingdom where the lines really aren't all that bad, but each time they were able to make a new lightning lane selection, so every 120 minutes since their last selection, if you haven't used all your previous lightning lanes just yet, then they would snatch up another one for Hollywood Studios. By the time 2 p.m. rolled around and they were ready to jump over to Hollywood Studios, after knocking out all the Animal Kingdom rides, they hit up 5 Hollywood Studios rides all in a row with little to no waiting and were still able to grab more lightning lanes as the evening went on. This isn't the norm for all vacation circumstances, but it's nice to know it can happen when the stars align. Now, I know I sound like I'm Team Lightning Lane all the way, but I only am in some cases when I know it'll save time and money. In other cases, like when you're traveling during the down season, when you're planning on spending a full day at Epcot or Animal Kingdom, which really don't need Genie Plus like the other 2 parks do, or if you're a Disney Resort guest who plans on using their early theme park entry to hit up the biggest rides 30 minutes before the parks open, or if you're a deluxe resort guest and you're heading to extended evening hours somewhere when there are never any lines, then Genie Plus may not be all that beneficial for you. I'm going to sound like a broken record here, but doing your research and talking with your group ahead of time about whether or not this premium line skipping tool is worth it for your trip is going to help you determine the best course of action to save you the most money in the end. And time too. Remember, it is really important when you're in Disney World. You're only there for a certain amount of days. Next up, merchandise. Buying a little something to take back home post-Disney trip is fun. Having to budget even more money to afford these little doodads, not so much fun. Disney merchandise these past few years has seen its fair share of price bump ups. We've seen prices increase for stuff like Mickey ears and Spirit jerseys and Nuimos and all sorts of other popular Disney knickknacks. Merch price hacks happen all the time, and they're bound to happen again in 2024 for multiple reasons. Reason 1, we've got the big I word to consider, inflation. While recent studies have been showing that inflation could slow in 2024, while job growth is expected to moderate and the unemployment rate is expected to rise, inflation could also remain persistently high through 2023 and 2024, meaning we'd see price spikes in the parks again as Disney passes on certain increased costs down to their consumers. Disney may also increase the price of its merchandise items if they feel like it'll help make up for some of the less than ideal financial results they've been receiving as of late. Specifically, in the third quarter earnings report for fiscal year 2023, Disney revealed that there was lower operating income at domestic parks and resorts. And that's a result of a mixture of stuff like decreased attendance, sudden closure of the Galactic Star Cruiser, decreases in certain merchandising licensing, and other factors. Now, considering the current state of things, Disney may feel financial pressure to increase costs somewhere so as to make up for lost profits elsewhere. But one of the biggest reasons Disney might continue to increase their merch prices because they can. As long as guests continue to spend big bucks on Disney merchandise, then it seems like there might not be any incentive to lower costs anytime soon. It's all about supply and demand, y'all. So if the $75 Loungefly bags continue to fly off the shelves, there's less of an incentive for Disney to reduce those prices, and if interest is still strong, especially in pricier items, they may feel that they actually have the power to increase those costs. So how then are you going to save on Disney merch without having to skip over the fun extras entirely? Well, you may want to make your own Disney merch while you're on property. So many resorts have specialty arts and crafts experiences that'll cost you way less. We've seen resorts that offer DIY options like Mickey and Minnie ears, vacation pillows, ceramic coasters, mosaic tiles, and lots of other super fun options for way less moolah, like $8. And it's not just the resorts that do these DIY projects. Sometimes the create your own merch pops up in the parks and in Disney Springs. If you head over to the Disney's Days of Christmas shop in Disney Springs, you can make your own candles, where you not only get to paint your own glass containers, but also pick your own scents and wax and color and glitter for $25 per person. And they turn out super cute. But if you want the real Disney Parks merch that you're seeing pop up in all the different gift shops, don't forget to check the Shop Disney website first to see if you can get it cheaper there. ShopDisney.com has a whole tab of sale items with merchandise that comes straight from the parks, so you never know what you might find online for less money. Now, if merch prices increase, then food prices are probably going to increase too, in possibly even greater amounts. We're constantly spotting those overnight price changes on restaurant menus that usually amount to just a few bucks at a time, but once you add all those price increases together, it could amount to a lot more than you spent on Disney World food in the past. So in October 2022, we saw hundreds of price increases hit Disney World, which impacted lots of popular park snacks like Mickey bars and food court cheese pizza, Dole Whips, chili dogs. This usually happens every October. It's happened for the last couple of years that those prices have been hiked up by a couple of cents or a couple of bucks across the board in all the parks and all the resorts. So expect that to happen in October, and you're definitely going to want to check menus before you go to get a realistic idea of what to expect budget-wise if you're planning on paying for food out of pocket instead of using one of the dining plans. When it comes to saving money on individual food prices, it's not a bad idea to also put some money on some Disney gift cards ahead of your trip, especially if you have a Sam's or Target membership, which is going to save you money on your gift cards. Let's say you've got a trip coming up in the next 7 months. If you save $50 on the same gift card each month, then you have $350 saved for meals by the time your trip rolls around. And that can get you really far, especially if you stick with the different quick service and substantial snack options instead of the higher priced table service stuff. And if you're planning on hitting up Disney Springs, make sure to seek out those different happy hour savings that'll pop up at different lounges and bars and restaurants. You can find a full list of those different discounted food and drink opportunities over at our website via the DFB Disney Discounts and Deals page. I'll link it down in the description below for you. Okay, park tickets are next. Every once in a while, Disney's park ticket prices go upwards in a rather sneaky way. In fact, we're already starting to see some subtle price hikes happening for the tickets you're going to buy in 2024. So let's get our handy-dandy magnifying glasses out to see what price hike shenanigans are going on via the Disney World ticket calendar, starting with a trip in June 2023 versus June 2024. So a 4-day ticket, one park per day with a June 14th starting date was $520.53 per ticket in 2023. But the same 4-day ticket in 2024 is $629.16. What about an August example? Well, in 2023, a 4-day ticket starting August 13th is $496.88, but is $569.72 in 2024. Now remember, Disney World tickets are date-based, so they are going to price the tickets on the more popular dates higher, right? But that means that they don't ever have to say that there's a ticket price increase again, because every day the tickets cost different prices. So they can just kind of increase them here and there where the days are more popular and there's more demand, and it's not a widespread ticket increase. So that's why we say it's sneaky. You kind of have to look at those days you're planning on going and seeing if those prices have gone up. Now, back to our example. If I were going to change my 4-day ticket into a 1-day, one-park ticket only, which is now priced by day and by which park you choose to visit, ticket prices have started to climb subtly. In March, between the 29th and 31st, individual tickets were priced at $144 to $149. But in 2024, those dates now range around $164. And if I throw a park hopper in the mix, those prices have seen their fair share of bump ups too. Park hopper add-ons now vary by date as well, a change that was made at the end of 2022. So if I were to book a 1-day ticket around August 3rd, the starting price for my park hopper in 2023 would have been $218 per ticket, but in 2024, you're looking at a $13 increase, bumping this park hopper up to $231 per ticket. That may not seem like a drastic increase, but again, if you're paying for 4 tickets for your group, that's still an extra $52 per day that you didn't have to spend on tickets before. Fortunately, you don't have to be caught completely off guard by these price increases. You can go into the Disney World website and see the price ticket calendar for every single day through the end of 2024. This is going to give you the opportunity to book your trip around the cheapest ticket prices available if that's what you're looking to do. In 2024, your cheapest time of year to visit is going to be very similar to what we've seen every year. The end of August, throughout the month of September, that continues to be Disney's value season, with a 4-day ticket getting as low as $116 per person. But don't forget to keep your eyes peeled for special ticket offers too, which do appear on the Disney World website every so often. Recently, Disney had a ticket promotion for those visiting the parks between June 1st and September 29th, 2023, which offered 4-day park tickets for the flat rate of $99 per day. So before you book anything, make sure you're not missing out on some super sweet savings that could shave down the ticket cost. You can usually find these deals listed out on Disney's Special Offers, Deals, and Discounts webpage. Or to save yourself the headache of having to track all these savings opportunities yourself, go ahead and jump on our newsletter. It's totally free, and we'll make sure you get that info ASAP as soon as it's announced. The link to sign up is right down in the description. Okay, hotels, y'all. Hotel price hikes are very similar to park ticket price hikes, which can be a good and a bad thing. Bad because these price increases are typically a little more sneaky. Disney can just slowly increase the cost of rooms over time, and since you'd have to look at individual availability for all the different types of hotel rooms across the years to see these changes taking place, it often goes unnoticed. Now let's say you're booking a room for Disney's Yacht Club Resort for the week of July 16th to the 22nd. In 2023, rooms here were averaging about $494 per night. But for the same time frame in 2024, we're seeing prices that are about $100 more expensive at $590 per night. This isn't a change we're seeing for just the deluxe resorts either. It's all of them, including the value resorts too. For a standard stay at All Star Music for around the same time, rooms in 2023 averaged around $153 per night, but for 2024, they can go as high as $189 per night. And now that Disney World is working on updating lots of hotel rooms on property, you might want to check and make sure that your favorite resort isn't way more expensive than you were expecting. Like the cabins at Fort Wilderness, for example. These cabins used to be decent, moderate prices, typically around the $400 to $450 per night marker. I know, in Disney World, that's decent. With lots of room for family to spread out over there in those cabins. But now that Disney Vacation Club's got a hold of these cabins and is completely remodeling each of them to be more modern and include more energy-efficient features, we're expecting hefty price increases over here by the time they're ready to open for all guests, DVC or not, later in 2024. Now, here's the good thing about hotel and ticket prices being similar. You can predict these price increases and decreases ahead of time. Let's go back to the park ticket price calendar again. On the days where park tickets are cheaper, you're going to find cheaper hotel stays too. When demand is lower, prices are lower all across the board when it comes to tickets and hotels, giving you the chance to save potentially hundreds of dollars on your next resort. By the way, Genie Plus is going to be cheaper on those days too. If you're wanting to try out those new DVC cabins or stay in a different DVC resort entirely, you may want to consider renting points from a DVC member who isn't planning on using their points before they expire versus purchasing a DVC stay directly through Disney. I will spare you the DVC spiel for now because there's a lot to that membership program that we've covered in previous DFB videos for you to check out when you get the chance. But essentially, DVC is Disney's version of a timeshare, and members will receive X number of points per year to use toward future Disney stays and vacations. By renting your points from a Disney Vacation Club member, you're essentially staying as a guest of that member. While it may feel a bit unnerving to just randomly buy DVC points from some rando you don't know, just in case they back out on the deal, reliable third-party rental services, we always use David's DVC Rentals, act as the middleman to make sure both parties involved in the DVC points trade-off have follow-through in the agreement. By renting points, you could potentially get a room for 30 to 50% less than it would cost you to book the room directly through Disney, especially when it comes to Disney Vacation Club Studios. Now, the downside to this, David's doesn't have full control over any of the DVC members' financial situations. So if something goes wrong on the members' end, the reservation could get canceled due to issues with their membership or something of that nature. Ultimately, though, your money as a guest renting points is guaranteed with these rental agencies like David's. That's just something to keep in mind. Okay, let's talk about travel costs and let's rip the Band-Aid off real quick for this one. There are some price hikes you're going to pay for regarding your Disney trip that not even Disney controls. Whether you're flying or driving, travel prices continue to vary quite a bit. While it's hard to pinpoint gas or airfare prices for 2024, like you can a Disney hotel room or park ticket, prices do fluctuate pretty similarly to those. You're going to see travel costs spike upwards when more people are traveling for the holidays or summer vacation, spring break, but you're also going to see costs dip a bit when the travel demand just isn't as prevalent. And it's not only Disney that has to factor in other issues like inflation. Travel companies do the same, and unfortunately, when prices for these companies increase, the prices for us have to increase too. So, which is going to be cheaper in 2024, driving or flying? As much as I wish I could give you a straight answer, of course there isn't one. Depending on where you live, it can be cheaper to drive to Disney World than it would cost to fly, especially if you have a larger family or you live farther away from an airport hub. That being said, gas prices and nights spent in a hotel along the way may end up canceling out those savings altogether. And if you're staying at a non-Disney resort and plan on driving over to the parks, you're also going to have to pay around $20 to $25 each day to park at the theme parks if you don't have annual passes. When it comes to flights, each airline and different tickets from that airline may come with different pros and cons too. Some airlines or tickets might be more expensive, but they may come with more benefits, like the ability to pick your seat or bring an extra bag. Other airlines might be cheaper, but not provide you with those same benefits. So the more you pay, the better your flight experience could be. And then there's the fact that you have to pay for your way out of MCO once you land. Mears Connect driven by Sunshine is going to cost you about $33.60 per adult for a round trip from the airport to Disney World. A rideshare like Uber or Lyft ranges around $40 to $70 depending on when you book it. And getting a rental car to take yourself from place to place instead of relying on someone else to do it could put you back $300 to $400 for the entire week depending on where you're renting from and what vehicle you choose. So yeah, lots to consider there, and all of it can be pretty overwhelming. So here are a few tips to help you make it less overwhelming. Tip 1, use those flight apps. It can be exhausting to keep checking flight ticket prices, and that's why flight apps come in handy since they'll monitor those ticket costs for you. You can use whatever app you love. Some of the ones we've checked out are Hopper and Skyscanner and Kayak. Tip number 2, park for free as a resort guest. So just this year, free parking returned for all Disney World hotel guests. These hotel guests also get to park at the theme parks for free too. So if parking was a big factor as to whether or not you were going to travel by car or plane, that might be a point in the favor of loading up the minivan. Tip 3, sign up for our newsletter. Surprised? Don't be. While the newsletter focuses a lot on restaurant reviews and latest park updates and the secret hacks to make your Disney days 10 times better, we also keep our eyes peeled for any flight discounts we see coming into the Orlando area. And we are sure to share them with you as soon as we learn about them. Signing up for the DFB newsletter is totally free. In fact, if you decide to download our equally free Disney World planning worksheets, then we'll go ahead and sign you up for the newsletter too, which you can unsubscribe from at any time. Okay, look, I know hearing about more Disney World price increases and potential increases to come is not the most uplifting news ever, but I promise that the DFB team and I will be here to keep tracking down savings and discounts and more budgeting tips so that dream Disney World vacation does not have to be unobtainable. I get emails from you guys all the time, every single day, seeing that our tips saved you hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars. You were able to go to Disney World when you never thought you could, and I love those emails. I treasure them. I share them with the team. We all love them, so keep them coming and keep watching because we've got lots of tips and we're going to help you save. Thanks for listening, everyone, and thanks for watching. As always, this is AJ for Disney Food Blog, and we'll see you real soon.